Truth seekers, what's going on? First of all, let me welcome each and every one of you here tonight on 4BK Live as we talk about something that I've been going hard on already this week. Reptilian gods, ancient deities, bloodlines that span centuries. What if I told you that humanity's suffering is not an accident, but a design for a energy form? And your pains, your struggles, your emotions, they're not really wasted, they're harvested. And those who are collecting it has been around quite some time. We're going to get into this tonight, and it's going to be a good one. And once again, if you like videos like this, I have my personal YouTube channel right here on the screen. We do a show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So tomorrow I'll be there at 8 p.m. Central. But every Tuesday, you'll find me right here. But if you want more, there it is on the screen. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. All right, so let's get down to business real quickly, and let's get this show on the road, because we're going to go deep, quick, and powerful when it comes down to this harvesting. And this is kind of a continuation from yesterday's show and Friday of last week on my personal channel. So it's one of 3 segments, and we're in segment 1. And like I said, you got talking about reptilian gods. We're talking about ancient deities, bloodlines that span centuries. Now, for those of you who are truth seekers, and before we even get started, there's going to be things I'm going to say, you may not believe it. However, you have to understand that it's not always about the actual proof. Roderick, let me see the reptilian, because they're not trying to be seen. And I'm going to challenge each and every one of you who says, well, I got to see the proof, because I'll see those comments after the show. Well, tell me, for those who believe in a devil who've never seen him, those who believe in oxygen and air breathing and can't see it, therefore, that doesn't mean it does not exist. However, we're going to get into that right now. So when I said your pains, your struggles, your emotions, they're not wasted, because they are harvested. And I know some people are saying, wait a minute, what do you mean feeding on us? Yes, there is some deities, there are some bad things out there, and whatever, been here for quite some time, have set up this whole construct that we're in the process that we become food and energy. Now, I know a lot of people saying, is my suffering really someone else's fuel? It is possible, yes, but we're going to go through that today, and I could absolutely say yes for you, but I want to send you down the rabbit hole tonight. I want to give you enough information you can read, you can see, you can hear, to awaken your curiosity to the possibility that every time you're being negative, and maybe some of this negativity that you read, see, and go into, it's all one big plan for food. All right, so where is this evidence? As somebody may be asking. Well, it's the unseen. It's the world. It's the conscious world, which we can't see, not with our set of eyes and the vibrations that we see on, but we can feel it, though. You can sense it. And if you're going to activate some of these other areas, then you're going to walk into some stuff that you're going to see that you won't see here. And the other question, well, how do I escape it? Well, we're going to talk about that tonight as we go deeper. Now, we assume that life is random. And the good days, the bad days, suffering, joy, is just part of the existence. And we believe emotions are what I would consider internal, private, and fleeting. But I want you to think about this for a second. Why is negativity constantly amplified in every system of control? We're talking about our governments. We're talking about media, entertainment, even our own relationships. Yes, in our own relationships. Now, the question is, could it be that we're not the final consumers of our own emotions? And you hear it all the time. Of course, you got positive energy and negative energy, but that something unseen is feeding off how we feel. Now, again, this may be far-fetched for a lot of you, a lot of people, but that's great, because if you are a true truth seeker, and I've said this before, then you have to realize there is what we call no-go areas. There is no area that you can go or shouldn't go seeking the truth. Now, I'm not telling you to walk into those areas, but maybe put your feet in the shoes, but don't walk in them, because you have to go to some areas where that knowledge is that will make you really uncomfortable. Because if you have not found the truth and where you are now, and you now is leading you into those no-go areas, that is something that you might want to consider. But again, if the emotions are just personal experiences, then why are we constantly manipulated into state of anger, division, and fear? We're dealing with that on a daily basis. Now, if suffering is just a part of life, then why does history show ritualized human beings' pain being used for suffering or offering? And you've seen it where they're taking people, making them unalive, giving them to deities. It's all in ancient paintings. If that ain't suffering enough, then I don't know what you want to call it. If that's not pain enough, I don't know what you want to call it. But now, if you think the world is random, then why do ancient civilizations across the globe tell the same story of reptilian gods demanding blood, suffering, and worship? And if you hear part of forbidden knowledge, you're going to get a lot of that anyway. So this should be nothing that's unfamiliar with you. However, let's connect some of the dots real quickly before we go further into this story tonight. The Anunnaki of Mesopotamia, we all have heard those stories. You've been here, you know. The Nagas of India, the Dragon Kings of China, the serpent gods of the Mayans, the reptilian figures carved into the walls of Egypt. Why do these depictions appear everywhere, separated by oceans and thousands of years? Meaning, how did the story travel? We're talking millennia, we're talking time, we're talking one continent to another continent, but yet these depictions are everywhere. So once again, go down the rabbit hole for this, because these were not myths. I'm telling you, in my beliefs, and most of your scholars is going to tell you that these are warnings. Now, let me set the stage. I've been doing this a long time. If you have not gotten enough information of who I am, I'm Roderick Martin. I'm, of course, with the podcast host or Truth versus Authority. If you want to look me up, Google me. You can go back, Google me, and come back right now, and that should answer a few questions. But let me help you a little bit. I've been in 11 different TV shows. I've been featured here on Forbidden Knowledge, Black Knight Satellite, Fox Tubi. You can go there. You can go to Discovery Plus channel, hosted a TV show there, all with aliens and all of this stuff. So I'm not just going anywhere with this thing. You can go to Amazon, and there are shows there on Prime of I Want to Believe, Bigfoot. There's 10, 11 of them there, different places that you can find, as well as being featured on History Channel's Ancient Aliens. So I'm not just here talking to you. I'm here giving you some information from the experience and different people that I've spoken with, talking with, and everyone else, that there's something higher, bigger, and it is not seen by our naked eyes, that is feeding off our negative energy. We're going to get into that. I just wanted to set the tone for you tonight. Let's go down to the part where I want you to understand this. From the dawn of civilizations, these entities demanded one thing, and that was worship through sacrifice. Billy talks about that all the time. He talks about the worship gene that we all have, or was embedded into human civilizations. Now, where did it come from? Well, track it all the way back. We'll get into that. Why was it instilled? There is a huge reason for that. But whether you are a bloodletting, or whether it's ritual offerings or suffering itself, pain was the currency of their control. Even today, the Illuminati themselves use trauma-based mind control pain and suffering to create their mind control slaves. So pain is always the main ingredient when it comes down to a lot of this suffering. Now, look at today's world. We got constant war. We have media-induced anxiety, social divisions, economic slavery, and we're all still offering up our suffering every single day, but it's not in temples. That maybe you want to equate that, though. We give it through our screens, our emotions, and our very consciousness. And there are people out for our consciousness. And they don't need altars anymore to do this, people. You're not going to see that. They have a whole new plan, and they're turned the entire world into a ritual. And this is what they're going to be doing. And I will talk about some of that in segment 3, so you know where I'm going to go with this. But let's just say, okay, Roderick, you got a question. If this is true, we're not just living life. I know some of us said we're high on life. We're being drained by a system older than history itself. Make no mistake about it. If it's true, then our emotions aren't just feelings, because they're just not. They are harvested resource. And this is why it's always important to keep your positivity and energy this way. And we'll get into that real soon. If it's true, then our suffering isn't accidental. It's engineered. And we will touch on that. So where I'm going with this, so therefore, I want you to understand, if you all seen the movie The Matrix, it wasn't just a movie, it was a message that was sent to all of us, a prophecy hidden in plain sight. Because we all know about Hollywood. You got to know about Hollywood, the whole root word of Hollywood, from the Hollywood tree or the holly tree. And then you're talking about the magic one or the magician. Hollywood is definitely used for mind control programming. They definitely create the illusions, and they use the word entertainment. And entertainment, go look up the literal definition. It's going to send into a point of showing us being just hypnotized by the Hollywood magic that they produce. Then they take this stuff and they go put it in, of course, the theater, and they use the theater of the mind. I've always tell you, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. Then you want to take the programming. Okay, you think they make those words up, TV programming, and then all of a sudden they're going to hit you on a certain channel. We all channel things today. This is how we stay into our conscious mind. So the plan is there. The tools are there. The resources for them to do what they do is absolutely there. And so don't make no mistake about it. But the ultimate matrix connection is a question we should ask. Are we batteries? Are we really batteries like the movie said? And what if that prison isn't just mental that most people talk about? What if it's energetic? What if we sometimes are looking in the wrong direction? We all think it's a mental prison, and we try to keep our focuses and everything else, but we don't realize maybe it's an energetic prison. And that could be another layer. And we're going to get into some of that. We're going to do this. But if you watch the movie, you're going to hear what Morpheus said. Actually, I got a quote here. He says, the Matrix is a system. He was talking to Neo. He said, that system is our enemy, and you are a slave. You're born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch, a prison for your mind. Now, that was deep. What did he mean by that? That was truly very deep. And it all leads all the way back, as we're going to talk about tonight, to those reptilians, these deities that are out there. And again, there are some people right now who may feel that Roderick, they just don't exist. All right. But like I said, we have to understand this. And they don't just need to lock us up in chains anymore. They don't have to do that. They just need to keep you scared, divided, distracted. And they want to do this long enough to keep the food supply that they're getting flowing. And this is what they're saying. Now, what we're going to do right now, I want you to think about a few things I'm going to ask you right now. What does mainstream media never let peace last? And the question is, what do they do to do that, and why? What do mainstream media do to never let peace last? They show it all day long. And the question is why? They show it repeatedly. If you think of the bobbleheads, you can literally tape the shows, and you will see all these different newscasts saying the same messaging at the same time, keeping it all unified so that no matter where you flick, change to, and go to, the messaging is the same. And they're going to be hitting that all day long. That is one of the things that they want to do. All right, so let me continue again. Say hello to everybody in the chat. We are live tonight. Luca is in the house, King is in the house, and Billie Jean is in the house. I'm just scrolling real quick, and King Simon is in the house. All right, so let's continue with the show, and let me hit even a little harder for you. Why do social media platforms prioritize conflict? They do. You don't see feel-good stories first. They don't do that. Why do global elites who can end suffering choose to extend it instead? We have a whole hierarchy system that is built for our energy. And because the longer we suffer, the more loosh. This is the word I want you to go look up. LOOSH, the loose that they can collect. They're collecting our loosh. And we might think it's mad loot. Oh, they just after the money. They taking all the money. Loot. No, it's loosh. They want the loosh. Now, if we ignore this, then we're going to remain batteries. So that's not something we want to do. Unknowing cattle is who we are in an invisible energy form. And once again, you saw it in the Matrix and when they sent that message in that movie. And then if we see the system for what it is, then the first step toward breaking that cycle is going to be a move that we need to make. And we can do this. And we literally, you can do this, right? The real question is what happens when we finally wake up? Now, I'm more stickler to this, and I know I'm going to brush a few people right now. It is a different story when people walk around saying, I'm awake, or I'm woke, or I'm awake. Well, I think it goes a little deeper than that now today, because there's a lot of wake people or woke people that really are so into this thing that they can't see the other part of what's happening in plain sight, because they feel that they're so woke that it just doesn't make sense. But that's really not the system when it's in a energy field that they're collecting this loose from. Because yeah, we have to know that their tactics have moved and changed, and this is what they're doing. Yeah, they're always going to be after our consciousness, because that's the end game, transhumanism. But the other moment of that is they can hide what they do, and they're doing it. And again, we will touch into that. All right, so let's go into this point. Reptilian worship and energy extractions across cultures. I'm going to point out a few things for you. Every major ancient civilization worship serpent deities. Go look it up. Go look it up. I'm not making this stuff up, okay? And that is a place that I will tell people that you want to go to start getting information. You want to, I have 15 books in there on serpent stuff. And when it kept going down a religious area for a moment a while back, I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go into, religious conversations. It didn't really matter. But then I knew I wasn't being true, authentic truth seeker, because there is no-go areas. And when I start going deeper and seeing all of the worship of the serpent and looking at all the symbolism and all of this stuff, and of course, I was raised to look this way, away from that serpent. It is evil, all of this stuff. And then when you start reading where knowledge and wisdom is, why would they make it a fear-based situation? Now, you can just take that somewhere else. This is not what this show is about tonight. But you can go and amplify that answer and question and go on the search for yourself. Blood sacrifices. They were just not symbolic that we think it was. They were about feeding entities with the suffering. They have a certain criteria that they would like to do and use when they do blood sacrificing. And we call it adrenochrome. If you just want to know, go look that up. And it's a heightened situation based on fear that our bodies release certain endorphins or adrenochrome, whatever they want to call it, when they have us at the height of certain fear. And when it's so high, it creates a LSD type of stuff within our blood that they love it. This is why they do these rituals and all this stuff right before they unalive someone. The elite obsession with cult symbols and bloodlines, who are they really serving? See, when I start studying the Illuminati bloodlines, there's a distinction between the two. I want you to know this. See, there's a distinction between Jay-Z and all these people, and I want you to understand they may be part of the Illuminati system. They're not Illuminati. I just want you to know. Illuminati, the real ones are through bloodlines. That don't mean that they don't have their minions and factions and control mechanisms and systems that are part of the Illuminati system. And then they do have to show their homage and everything by putting symbolism and everything out there. But the original Illuminati is from those 13 families in that bloodline that goes not only back here, back there, all the way back to serpent in Africa rituals. Go look that up yourself. So when we get to talking about Illuminatis here, we're over to the right side of this thing, okay? We're not talking about the hip hop and all of that because they are not, you can't get into the Illuminati like that. It's a blood thing, and you can go find it out for yourself. Now we're going to talk about modern day energy harvest, how suffering is manufactured, so that you know what are their plans, how are they doing this stuff, why are these reptilians and deities or feeding off of this stuff, how are they keeping us in this place? Well, the meteor engineer fear cycles all the time. You got war, you got crisis, you got pandemics, you got in its own repeat constantly. They're doing this. Do you know how much energy they could, or negative energy, when they could have a war and you think it's just with the people that's over there in the war? No, it's their families. Everybody is feeling this negativity. They can raise this thing up to a whole nother level instantly. And they do it. Social media algorithms. They push division and anger over peace and unity. Just start checking this out. You're not seeing all these feel-good stuff. And it's not going to happen. The constant state of emotional chaos. This keeps us producing low vibrational energy. Now, like I said, if you go back to the Illuminati bloodlines, we're talking about the serpents well, we can say serpents, but they're the servants of the reptilian system of these serpents, right? And because they're not actual serpents and they're not reptilians, shapeshifters maybe, but they're tied to these deities who through them comes all the way down to where we are today. So your question is going to be, why do elite families interbreed and trace their lineages back to ancient rulers? This is why I was just saying to you why this is a true bloodline system, the blue bloods, because they interbreed with one another. They make sure they marry to bloodlines to keep this bloodline pure and how they want to do it. And so therefore, you're not finding somebody off the shoot that says, okay, now I am. And in fact, watch what those celebrities say. Really, they don't say I am the Illuminati. They say I'm in the Illuminati. They're not the Illuminati. They can't tell you that. They better not walk around here trying to say they are original blood. They can't do it. That's trouble. But they'll say I'm in it, but they're not it. And believe me, this is not that. That don't work the same thing. But the question is, what if secret societies exist to manage the human form on the behalf of those overlords? That's the point I'm making. This triangle of things that exist is out there. And these people are part of this system, and the system is keeping everything in check so that they can harvest the loosh in the energy. But listen, I'm not just trying to throw bad news out here, because that's some good stuff at the end of this day. There are shows here on Forbidden Knowledge Network. There's things that you can do. You can get yourself out of this just by not producing that negative energy. That's a spoiler alert before we get to segment 3, okay? I just want you to know. The other part of this, though, is the obsession with symbols, rituals, energy manipulations. And do they know something we don't? See, every time since I created the trademark, the symbolizer, because I wanted to make sure I learned ancient and modern day symbolism. And when I start going down that rabbit hole, it not only started getting deeper and deeper, but it all ties together. And I created what I call my triangle of information and content to share with my audience. And that was not only the reptilian agenda, but the Illuminati, original Illuminati, and then also the mind control systems that they use throughout the world, from Disney on up to, and we've had those shows on my channel. In fact, like I said, yesterday, we did a live stream and we went a little bit about shapeshifters. So if you want to go back over there and watch that from here, subscribe to my channel, go check it out. And then tomorrow you'll see me live again on my channel. However, we're here, we're live, Forbidden Knowledge, 4BK, and it's all good. The Matrix was a warning. I just want you to know this. And it's recognizing the energy prison. And here's a part of this. You are, and this comes from the Matrix. It's a quote. You are here because you know something, and what you know you can't explain, but you feel, and there is something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. It's like a splinter in your mind. That's all of us truth seekers. That's all of us. You know something. You got the itch. You wouldn't even be here watching this. You got the itch. But I'm here to tell you that there is a challenge with this thing. And there are some people who's going to be putting things in this chat tomorrow, and they're going to be like, oh, there he is. He's talking. He's not proving nothing. Let me say something to you dummies who's going to go that route. Not y'all, but there's one or two dummies who's going to go that route. And they're going to want proof of a conscious system. And they're supposed to be smart and woke, but they want proof. Now, we're talking about eyesight, literally proof, but you can feel it, though. See, they won't go with their feelings. They're not going to go into their intuition and their energies and their kundalini. They're not going to get there. They're going to go only with the visuals, and that's what they want. It happens all the time. But yet, like I said before, they walk around breathing air that they can't see. They believe in a devil that they never seen, whose the greatest gift was to make like he never existed. And it just continues to go more and more and more. But yet they will challenge, and you already know what time it is. But if the shoe doesn't fit, I'm not talking about you. Everybody who's here. But like I said, you'll get one or two. You know, I know you guys are good. But what if that splinter is the awareness that our emotions are being harvested out of that quote? And this is what I'm talking about, because there is a splinter that does take us in that direction. And breaking free starts with realizing the cycle and refusing to participate in that negative energy. And that is something that we have to do. Now, we're getting ready to go into our second segment of the show. And real quickly, I just have one or two quick announcements before we do. As you know, we have the 3rd annual Conscious Awards with Forbidden Knowledge. There's a link in the description. You want to come to Florida to this one. We're going to be in Hollywood, Florida. This is going to be one of the best yet of the Conscious Awards. However, I'm up for author this year. So I need and want and would like for you to support me. And there's a text up there on the number, and you can vote for me. And why you're going to vote for me is because there is a new pre-release of a book, The Unspeakable Truth. The foreword is written by Billy Carson, and the subtitle is How Fake History, Christianity, and Self-Oppression Robs the African Americans of their voice in the modern UFO revolution. People, it's on pre-sale right now on Forbidden Knowledge site. There are my publishers. I would love for you to do it so when we release it, we can make it a bestseller. And when that happens, oh my, something magical is going to really happen. So I cannot wait for that. And it's things that, again, that only you will know where we're going with this. All right. So with that being said, let's move to our second segment after this little quick. All right. So the greatest trick, like I said, is the devil Everpool was convincing the world he didn't exist. But what if the devil wasn't just a metaphor? And what if the forces feeding on our suffering are not just of evil, but of living entities operating above our reality, pulling the strings of our entire existence? I know that could be hard for people to stretch. And like I said, if you're a truth seeker, we got to go there. We have to go there. We got to go, like the Lion King says, what is it in that shadowy place? Now, Mufasa said, don't go there, Simba, but you go there anyway. You have to go there, okay? Because you can't look for the truth if you're not going to go and you have no-go areas. And you know the names that I'm getting ready to talk about because you learn it here on Forbidden Knowledge. Billy educates everyone. You see, my job is to get all of the wanderers and people that's out there and bring them into this vortex. And then after we grab and get in all of us, and we're going to help them too, they can then move over to more knowledge here on this channel, right? But I do know there's a lot of people out there right there on that fence line because the names that they know that they really don't understand, number one is the Anunnaki. There are the celestial serpents of summer, or Samir, if that's what you want to say. We're talking about the Anunnaki. Why did I say serpents of the Anunnaki? Go look. Go read some of the stuff. Go back and see that there are some lineage and some serpentry connected to those Anunnakis. And then don't let me take you to another land of a no-go to know that if they are also inbred with us, okay, they came and saw you, the women, all of you beautiful ladies, because you are beautiful today. If nobody told you, women, ladies, you're beautiful. And they said, well, let's breed them, which means it's a possibility that we got some reptilian DNA. Okay, then. We're going to leave it right there. Let's go to the Nagas, the hidden lords of the underworld in India. Go look up their stories. It goes back to reptilian stuff. How is that possible? Well, it's very possible if it's got some truth in it. And you talk about the Chichari or whatever that is a credo Mutuwa talks about. And maybe I butchered the name, but y'all can do some spell check. And again, I'll say it right now. If I make a mistake, there's a virtual box of words right up here, and you're welcome. It's got unlimited letters. You can go in and correct anything I say, and there's a virtual grammar box over here. And if I butcher a word, I want you to use your conscious imagination. And when it comes out of my mouth, butcher, but it gets into your ears and your mind, it is perfect because you can do that. You don't even have to ridicule. You don't even have to. You can make it right because you got it. You got that. What about Draco? The apex predators of the cosmos, draconians. We hear about that all the time. All the time. We hear about it all the time. And it's just something that keeps coming up. Yes, Billie Jean says alpha draconians. Absolutely. We hear about it all the time. And it's going to continue to come up over and over because that's a true story. All right, so across the empire, every secret society, every bloodline of power, the same serpent rulers emerge, and their game is not wealth. We're just alluded that way. It's not power. It's not land. It's you. You are the prize. I'm the prize. We are the prize. That's what it's all been about from day one, keeping us down and our conscience closed and all of this stuff. And people be asking, well, I haven't seen this before, Roderick. Well, the world's made of energy. It always has been and will be and ever can be or whatever. That's it. And science has proven that everything, that matter, thought, emotion is just vibrating frequency. But we cannot miss it because we live into this reality. And we forget that we're all conscious awareness living the experience of who you are. but we forget about that. And that's energy. And you get people on a note to say, "Oh man, I'm not feeling your energy," and they think they woke. And I'm not saying they're not potentially there, but it's bigger than that. But it's great that we have those spider senses, though. I'm not talking bad about that, but I want them to, when they starting to say this, start knowing that there is a bigger peacock of energy that's happening, other than someone standing next to you and you can't feel their energy. Hell, that could be a shapeshifter. You never know. But what if the emotions are more than just vibrations? What if they can be consumed? And I want you to think about this for a minute, because this is all about thought provocation tonight. That's all I do. You know, if you watch any of my shows, I'm going to pose questions for you, because when you leave, I need you thinking. I need you thinking. So we can do that, right? And we can think about all of what's happening. But in the meantime, if you like what you hear and you like what I'm saying, and you want more of this and more things, because we're going to go down a reptilian agenda rabbit hole, because there's not going to be too many people know more about this reptilian stuff than I do. Now, I ain't comparing myself to David Icke and all of them. I learn from them folks. You get what I'm saying? But I go into it with courage, and I tie it into that spiritual stuff, or religion. We can say religion, both spiritual. But anyway, there's my YouTube channel on the screen. Monday through Friday, I do 5 days, 1 day here. But if you want more of this, come check me out. Wednesday will be tomorrow, and then we'll be on Friday at 8 o'clock. I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to reach 25,000 subs. If everybody in here did it, we'll get there. I know that for a fact. But anyway, let's continue, because that's what we're here to do. So why does suffering persist no matter how advanced we become? See, a lot of people forget that. Or are we really advanced than our ancestors? See, we think just because we got cell phones and wireless technology and equipment that we are more advanced beings. But did you know that our ancestors spoke to each other without a spoken word at times? Did you know they didn't have to run down to the hospital and get a doctor to practice medicine on them when they just got into a circle and they said, let's, telepathically and energetically heal my brethren? And when they wanted to send you a message, they sent it to you. Yeah, in the spirit world, you sitting over here, they over there, and next thing you know, your consciousness look over to them like, what do you want? And you're in the conscious world. You go, well, I want you to blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye. And then they come back into reality. And we think that we are more advanced. But I think they did that on purpose. They did not want us to tap into those things. So why do civilizations always collapse into war, disease, and destruction just before reaching enlightenment? It's like this is something they do over and over and over. Constantly, they're doing this. And why do the same elite bloodlines remain in control for thousands of years, never fading into history? See, I said this on the show yesterday, and people like shapeshifters, well, they're here. They walk among us. They never left. None of the stuff in history shows us they packed up and left. None of it. We don't have that. We don't see a exit strategy for them. Stuff just disappear, though. Right? Dinosaur, well, we know what happened to that, extension level events. They're here. They're still here. They never left. In fact, they never left, just to say this. Because this world was designed to keep us in emotional feeding cycle. That's exactly what they were doing, people. So my question is, if this system was built for control, then every random event was crisis was part of their plan. And if suffering is profitable, then the peace is the enemy of their power. Love is the enemy of their power. It's the enemy. It's the enemy. Now, again, we're going to go deeper here in the second and third segment. So just hang on to your bootstraps. This is not for the faint of hearts here. This is just being a little layered here for you, because we are talking about deities. Now, I want you to know this. We're talking about spirits and demonic stuff. We're talking about reptilians and people feeding and stuff that we can't see, but then it's well, they're here. We just, our eyes only, we're really blind, to be honest with you. The human eyes are blind. We can't see all of that different levels, but it doesn't mean they're not here. Now, it's not a fear base because they need us and they fear us too. I just want you to know that. They need us to live. You got to understand that. So they're not here trying to just take us out because we're the food source. You don't go kill the cows. You don't go let all the chickens go. They need us. But if them chickens started to work together and begin to connive and you start sending them huddling up every time you come, you better go find the main rooster though. Get him first and use him as an example. We know how that went. Again, if emotions generate energy, then who collects it when we're at our lowest point? So let's talk about how these reptilians form operates. I know you've been wanting to know that. I know that's something you want to do. See, the Matrix wasn't a fiction. It was a user manual for reality. And the system wasn't built to keep us safe. It was built to keep us asleep. You know that by now. And I'm just going to throw it out there. Religion was one of the biggest tools of it all. All of this mechanisms and stuff they put in place is all to keep us asleep. That's all it's for. The whole system, the banking system, the debt systems and everything is to keep us in turmoil. And it works. Because I'm going to tell you how it works real quickly. I'm going to take a quick detour for like 10 seconds here. How many of us got a brand new car? How many of you ever got a brand new car or a new job or whatever? And you told everybody, oh, thank God I got a blessing today. I got this car and it was a blessing. All it takes about 3 months or 6 months of paying the note, that blessing turns into a bill. All of a sudden, it just turns all the way negative again. That job turns bad again because you can't stand the employees and the co-workers. But somehow we walk into the blessing to find out it was just some negative energy. How does that happen? Because the system is designed that way. It's designed that way. I know I'm just talking. I know you're probably saying, Roderick, he's just talking. You get what I'm saying. But let me continue, though. Again, the Matrix wasn't fiction. It was a user manual for reality. The system wasn't built to keep us safe. And I repeat, it was built to keep us asleep. And what's the best way to keep a food source from realizing it's being formed? Number one, I'm going to give you 3 things here, is to keep them so distracted to question anything. And if you think I'm playing, you're a part of the system. We all been part of the system. I say it all the times. How many times? See, there's a reason, and I'm not going to go that way, but there's a reason why the children, when they out here doing what they do, is so important to the equation. We're going to do a show on that. We just got to figure out some words to change it up a little bit so we're not, censored. Or maybe we'll talk about it in our censor. We do have a censor area. We do a live stream every Thursday that's uncensored, but it's on our Patreon. You can't get access to it unless you're part of that. And we hold no bars. We can say whatever we want. But yeah, so let me leave that to the side because that'll get a little too emotional for some of you. The other part of this is to keep them emotionally exhausted so that they don't fight back. We're so tired. We're tired. And they already got control. We're tired. We're so tired. We don't mind letting them taking our children every day to school for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. And then after school programs, we can't wait. And we come home, we spend only 2 hours with our kids a week. And we think we are the hand that rocks the cradle. In a given month's time, you only spend maybe 2 to maybe 20 hours a month with your children in most cases, because they got us working. They got us so tired. It's designed this way. It's designed this way. They keep them divided so they never unify against the former. That's the whole point of this. That is the whole point, is to make sure that nobody unifies against the former. And you see it everywhere. And again, if you just join us, we're talking about reptilian overlords, deities, these dark energy sources that are using us for for food. And I know you might be like, oh, whoa. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about jumping off the reservation and talking about, oh man, I got to see it. Just don't do yourself that way. Please don't. Just don't. But we can't be Mother Teresa here. We can't want it more than you want it for yourself, okay? But if you are a truth seeker, like I mentioned it before tonight, then you got to go those areas. You got to go to those no-go areas. You have to. It's important. It's imperative that you do. We see it everywhere because the government manufactures war to create mass fear and despair. Social media rewards conflict, outrage, and endless negativity. And religious and political ideologies are turned into battlegrounds. We just seen it. We seen it here with Billy. You know, religious and political ideologies turn to a battleground. Everybody's trying to create, even though they're doing it in the name of what they do it in, it still was conflict. It's negativity, period. Why this guy's over here raising consciousness, they're still trying to bring us back into the tapestry of that. Oh, I know this is going to get out, so they can do it. And we think these things are separate. We think it's separate. But you ask yourself, what is it? Is it all the same? And we're talking about a system not ran by politicians or billionaires, people, but by beings that have controlled us since the beginning, before you got here. I'm going to say it again. It's not a system ran by politicians and billionaires, but beings, you heard it, that have controlled us since the beginning. Now, there's a lot of things that I want you to know is at stake here, and let me point this out to you, because if the form needs negative energy to run, then those in power will never allow true peace. They're just not going to do it. And you already know. You said yourself, I need peace in my house. I need peace in my relationships. And you know the answers. But yet, we're going to have some solutions in segment 3. But yet, if we are just sources of loosh, then every aspect of life has been shaped to extract it as much as possible. They're afraid of us. They are. They're afraid of us. They need us to feed off of. And let me give it to you like this. If I want you to understand this, what I'm going to say to you. If they need negative energy to provide for food, is it not coincidence to let you understand? And believe me, coincidence or evidence, because we do not believe in coincidences here. I will say coincidence is God's way of being anonymous. But you can look at it any way you want. Nothing just happens. I was talking about that yesterday. Nothing just happens. But you believe me that if they're using loosh for their food, then it just makes totally sense that that vibrational level is where they operate, is where they act, is where they live. Because they're going to take their food where they live. That's why it's so important for us to stay out of that zone as much as possible. This is not a relationship show, but I will tell you, get with somebody. I mean, if you got some people not giving you peace, you don't have to know what's happening there. You don't need no therapist for that. You don't need to go see the pastor for that one. Hell, you may not even need to pray for them at this point. All in trouble. But what I'm saying is, you know your answer. You don't have peace. You know what's happening. But you can get there. Both people love will get you there. I'm just letting you know that is going to be something you would do. And if it's true, then the ultimate question, can we ever escape the cycle? Absolutely we can. Yes, we can escape it. Just like Nine Ether Harris says, we're gods. There's a God in you. There's a God in you, for sure. So the matrix is code breaking. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to tell you a little bit about the signs of the failing system. Now, the question is, have you ever had a feeling where you are not sure if you were awake or dreaming? That's a question. In fact, that's what Neo was asked from Morpheus in the Matrix. And let me read it again. Have you ever had that feeling that you were not sure if you were awake or dreaming? That's powerful, man. That is very powerful to think about. And what if our collective awakening is crashing the system? What if that? What if that is happening? That is powerful. That is very, very powerful. Now, do you know where the reptilian brain is? Anyone? Let me just ask the question. Do you know where the reptilian brain is? And real quickly, just real quickly, this is the 800 number. I'm just going to put this up real quickly. That's the 800 number. And you could send texts, videos, anytime you find anything about reptilians. Somebody said they saw one, is one, whatever. We're collecting this data. We want to find them, talk to them, and whatever. But make sure you screenshot that and put that in your arsenal so that you know how to make contact. Okay, I just want you to know that. But do you know what a reptilian brain is? It's right here in the back. This is why in the Matrix they plugged everybody up in the back. They tapped into the reptilian brain. Now, if you think that wasn't symbolic enough, go back and look at the movie a few times. You're going to get some answers that you may not believe it. But once again, let's look at some things that I will call for you to think about as could be possibly evidence for you. More people than ever are rejecting traditional media and power structures. I've seen it in here tonight. People saying, I don't watch the media anymore. I stopped watching it a long time ago. But the problem was when I started saying I'm a truth seeker and I got a show called Truth versus Authority, and I'm here to help my audience and different people to get some other perspectives and see the mind control tactics and all of that, I had to go start back watching the media. But let me tell you the power, though, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know what's happening, it doesn't affect you that way. They got to try something new, and they always got something new up their sleeve. I just want you to know they're advancing from all of that, the little TV stuff. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now, the secrets of ancient civilizations, hidden energy, and reptilian control are surfacing faster and faster for a reason. It's for a reason. My YouTube channel is a destination for reptilian agenda. Go look. I got tons of videos on reptilian stuff. I'm fascinated with the story, but it goes beyond them deities. It goes becoming wise as a serpent. It's very important, so you know what I'm talking about. All right. There is growing spiritual movement, the Kundalini awakening. This is where we're working to. The third eye activation, the vibrational mastery that threatens to cut off their food supply. This is the problem that most people have. There is a book of sacred secrets. It's in the chat. A lot of people have gotten it. Get you a copy of it. It's not in the chat, but it's down in the description of the video. Go check it out. Just go to my website, hit the link, look at a couple of sample pages, and you'll get it. You'll get it. It's that sacred stuff. It's an ebook. It's a downloadable ebook. All right. Nothing compared to this 300 or 400 page book that's coming out. We're going to do a book signing at the Conscious Awards. I failed to mention that. But the spiritual growing movement. This is why networks like Forbidden Knowledge, Billy, his wife, and all these people that's on his network, it's in others out there, Doc B and King Time, and all of these people are giving you the spiritual movement. And it's more than just them. It's more than just them. Now, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I just want you to know. I'm not trying to give you the kumbaya, but I'll tell you it works because I do it. I'm not trying to tell you here's a such and such, but I studied gematria, so I understand numbers and letters and words. I understand word magic. I study that. I know this word magic that they put on us, and I dang gone study the reptilian agenda and the mass control through the Illuminati all the way back down to the system of control that we are in today. And I guarantee you that you're going to find a lot of information from me for that. But if you, like I said, if you want more of that, there it is right there on the screen. You can go and subscribe tonight. I wish you would, because like I said, we want to get 25,000 subscribers. We only need, if everybody who watched this video over the next day that's hearing this message, subscribe to my personal YouTube channel and get more of me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you so feel that there's value, we will reach that in 3 days. That's how we could do this. All right, so could this be why they are desperate? Because you're seeing a lot of stuff happening on TV right now, while the control mechanism, the government, entertainment, and digital tracking are becoming more aggressive. So they're moving that AI, all of that stuff. They're doing. They're like, you know what? These people are not watching TV as much as they used to. We need something else to trap them, to mind trap them. We got to do something else to do this. This is what they're working on. Plain and simple, is what they're working on. And if they lose control over our emotions, they lose everything. This is why in every meditation format, they didn't tell you, they didn't have to. They were hoping that we knew the ABCs of this thing. You got to control your emotions. You seen the movie Avatar? The dragon, the snake in the spirit world in Avatar told a little boy, you got to control your emotions. Water is like emotion. That was the whole point. Because if he got too angry, he messed the things up. Right? But control your emotions. And again, by the way, there was a dragon, a serpent, that was the spiritual leader of that whole Avatar, fire, wind, air, and ground. Okay, symbolism itself. Go check it out. All the elements of earth was controlled by that serpent. He would go into the spirit world. And just like most of us, that serpent said, where you been? Well, how come you have been here? I'm just talking to y'all. I'm just throwing it out there. I know, it may not be, but if you know what I'm talking about, go look at what I'm talking about. If we ignore this, then we're going to be trapped, people. In fact, I'm going to read some stuff from this book here in a minute. The Trap. David Icke wrote a whole book, The Trap. This is a good book, by the way. Oh, my God. If you want to talk about what they're doing and how they're mind effing us, go check it out. Go check it out. I'm not playing with you. Endless producing energy of unseen rulers. If we awaken, we disrupt the feeding cycles, but not without retaliation. They're going to just keep trying to think. And like I said, they're not trying to take you out. So forget that. You're a food source. But they're going to keep coming after our minds, our consciousness, and our energy levels, and keep bringing us to a level where they can feed. But we can rise above it. We stay above it. That's all we have to do. But I'm talking in all aspects, though. Work, relationships, friendships. Man, if you have a surrounding of all positive energy, now I'm still trying to master that myself. But when you do, and I did for a while until you introduce some new people, and then you got new, like, man, keep the circle closed. That is a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. And the next phase isn't just about waking up. It's about the fight to stay free. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. People just think because they're awake that's it. No, man, it is an ongoing process. You have to get into your Kundalini awakening. You got to activate that third eye. And you got to get your vibration mastery. There is so much content on the Forbidden Knowledge Network that would get you there. It's incredible. And like I said, there's other people out there, but there's a lot of people part of this network that will get you there when it comes to this vibrational energy. It's important. But again, there's some stuff in the chat. So you go down in the description of the video, hit the Book of Sacred Secrets. You won't be disappointed. All right, so let's go into the deeper truth so we can expand this segment, and then we're going to move into our final segment 3, okay? And then I'll get you out of here. One of the things I want to touch back on is the bloodline connection and why the same family rules. Now, every ruling empire traces its lineage back to reptilian deities. Go check that out for yourself. Everyone. The obsession with keeping power in these families isn't about money. It's about ensuring energy control to stay with the loyal, that stays with loyal servants. This is what they're about. They just know by keeping us in a certain area, they now have taken it to another level. The other part is the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the royal dynasties. They are the gatekeepers for the human form. And like I said, there is the original Illuminati bloodlines. You check that out. And if you're part of our inner circle, our uncensored area on Patreon, there is a book in there. You don't have to go spend it's $100 that you go buy it, but there's a book in there. You'll find it. Just keep scrolling. You'll see it. Get it and read it. It's in a PDF form. We educate in our uncensored area. And there's a link up to you to join the all access area if you want to go there and you want to have, and we live stream privately every Thursday and we talk some great stuff. Let's go to number 2, which is the emotional extraction process. How they keep us producing the loosh. The war, fear, panic cycle that they try to put us through, that ensures constant mass of emotion and distress. How our personal relationships are manipulated into suffering loops. Sometimes we're arguing with people at the house, in the house, and we have no clue. And you walk away, well, why are we arguing about that? It's petty. But there's deity or something behind. You can't see them. They're sitting there just eating, just like keep arguing. And then they may set you off and set your emotions, and they have a way to do it. And now everybody's arguing. Even the kids are just feeling down, and now they're feeding off their innocent souls. It's a repeated process. We got to stop it. And again, Kundalini awakening. All right? Vibrational mastery and so forth. Our mental exhaustion is their greatest weapon. And it's going to, some people were just too tired to rebel. If you go to my Truth versus Authority store, all my stuff is there's rebellion stuff. Our whole stuff is rebellion. That's what it's all about. The other part is reptilian worship in modern society. It's hidden in plain sight. Celebrity rituals, we see it every day. Music videos, secret society symbols, mocking the masses with their own enslavement. They do it right in our faces. The monarch butterfly, we talk about that on my channel. If you want to hear about that stuff, come on. Go, come on and subscribe to Roderick Martin, Truth versus Authority. We do it. Because I want you to understand, truth is truth. Authority, there's some bad authority out there. And you would think authority is meaning some people or places, things or whatever. It's the mind, people. Sometimes we cannot believe what you think, especially when they manipulate the mind. We got to clear it up. The obsession with serpent imagery. You think that's a coincidence or a coded message? It's a coded message. They're not trying to hide it. They just know you don't see it. They only put it up so that the others know who they are, staking a claim of what they're doing. They're not trying to hide it. That's not what they're doing. And do the chosen elite believe that they're serving a higher power or simply saving themselves? They are servants. They are serving the higher power in exchange, not for our energy, for wealth, power, influence, control. That's fine. They're doing it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that every wealthy people is part of that, because there's people who are at a higher energy that is disconnected from their power grid of negative energy. They really are. And that is something that you want to make sure. Now, the rise of spiritual revolt, what happens when we stop feeding them? See, you have to understand that most people are not ready to be unplugged. This is what Morpheus said in the Matrix. This is why I get haters all the time. There's some watching right now, and they come every time I'm here, and they hate and hate and hate. And I want to tell them, stop the negative energy. You're really a fan. You're just critical. But like Morpheus said in the Matrix, you have to understand most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And see, that's why we go out and we try to tell our family members, we trying to show them, we maybe point them to the channel, and they're fighting you and you can't realize it. They're not ready to be unplugged. I'm not saying they won't ever do it. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But let them find their own way like you did. You just don't stand still. You can't, because otherwise negative energy will get on you. It'll get on you. You get what I'm saying? And once again, the power of the Kundalini activation, meditation, and raising vibration is how it makes our energy useless for their form. I'm going to read you something before we go into our third segment and final segment. This is, let me make sure I get my spectacles here so that I don't miss something for you. This is in the book of David Icke's The Trap. Now he took this from a guy named Don Juan Mateus or whatever. Make sure you look him up. But he says, and he's a shaman, this Don guy is a shaman. But he says that the predators have given us our system of belief in our ideas of good and evil. They set up our dreams of success or failure, and they have gave us their greed and cowardice. Now, he said the predator makes up a complacent, routinary system. And here's what he says. I quote, "In order to keep us obedient, meek, and weak, the predators engage themselves in stupendous maneuvers, stupendous, of course, from the point of view of fighting strategists, a horrendous maneuver from the point of those who suffer. They gave us their mind, which is the reptilian brain. The predator's mind is barbaric, contradictory, morose, filled with fear of being discovered any minute now." That is really powerful. And what he's saying is that we have against us not a simple predator that most people think. It's a very smart and organized. It follows a methodical system to render us useless as a man, and a magical being that is destined to be is no longer magical, which is us. He's an average piece of meat, and there is no more dreams for man, but dreams of animal who is being raised to be a piece of meat, trite and conventional embellished. Get this. Check it out. All right, so everybody, I'm with Sylvia there. Hit the like button if you don't mind, while I get my notes out to take us to our final and third segment. Let's do that right now. But anyway, hit the like button and let me take us there right now. So the Matrix is everywhere. It's all around us. And even now, it's in this very room. You can see it when you look out the window or when you turn on your television or television. You can feel it when you go to work and when you pay your taxes. Quote, Morpheus. But what if the Matrix isn't just digital? And what if the real matrix is biological, emotional, and spiritual, and a reality designed to do one thing: turn you into a endless, self-replenishing energy source? He talked about the human batteries, right? Now, make no mistake about it, we're not letting them off the hook. So we're talking about the reptilian overlords, the bloodlines, the secret societies, the media, the government, the digital age, the war machine, the engineered chaos is what we're talking about. So if you just joined us, you bet, go back to the beginning when you get an opportunity. All of this exists for one purpose: to keep the farm running. But what happens when the cattle stop producing? What happens when the farm collapses is the question. And a system, or should I say but, so conjunction, junction. What's your function? The system wasn't designed to be escaped. It was designed to be self-sustaining and a machine that runs forever, fueled by one simple, horrific truth. Human suffering is an infinite resource, people. I just want you to know. It's sad to say, but it's the real deal. Human suffering is an infinite resource. It just is. Doesn't have to be that way, but it is. The cycle repeats through time. Ancient civilizations, they rise, reaching heights of knowledge and spiritual awareness. The rulers panic, and then the form is waking up again. Sudden collapse follows. War, destruction, famine, digital enslavement. Then a new system rebuilds, and the cycle begins again. Think about it. Go back and look at history. It repeats. All of this is repeating constantly, because people do wake up and people do fight back, and they just reset, erase history. But you can ask yourself, why is history erased and rewritten after every major reset? Go look for that answer. It'll tell you. Why does the rulers destroy sacred spiritual knowledge every time a society advances? This is history. They do it. Go check it out for yourself. Why is enlightenment the greatest threat to the controllers of the world? You know that answer, but if not, go check it out. I want you. My job is to awaken your curiosity. That's my job. So that you go the extra mile, you confirm your suspicions, and then you wake up on your own and on your own terms. And not only you wake up, but you see further. That's what I've been saying all tonight. See further. So that you further know you're not just trying to be awake. It's a whole different battlefront too. It's more. If we keep feeding them, the cycle will never break, people. It just won't ever do it. And if we disrupt or mess up their harvest, so to speak, then we retaliate. And it's going to be, they're not going to like it, but we can win. And if we transcend the farm, we step into a war that they have spent centuries preparing for. But love, there's something about that word love. I'm not going to get deep into it. But that is a battlefront that they do not want to deal with. So why is the war on consciousness? Why are they doubling down now is the question. Why are they working so hard right now? Have you ever had a dream is my question for you. And like Morpheus asked Neo when he said that you were so sure that was real. What if you was unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between a dream world and the real world? That's a true state, that the body, when it sleep, doesn't know the difference between being up or alive. You can still have the same panic attacks while you sleep as well as you are awake. It doesn't know the difference. But how do you know? If the body doesn't know, how do you know? Is the mind controlling the body, or is the body controlling the mind? That's something to think about. And it really is. But right now, at this very moment, they are trying to put together a new prison for us. hint, hint, AI, all of that stuff. They're accelerating their fear cycles. They're once again, they're bringing out endless wars, disease, scares, economic collapses. They're doing that now. They know the stuff that's happening in tariffs and all this stuff eventually could cause some problems if it goes unchecked. But they need the economic collapses to get the energy stuff up. They're corrupting the food. We know this. The water, the air. They're doing all of that stuff. Lowering the vibrations, keeping people sick and weak. That is the playbook. It's far beyond just religion. Religion is the control mechanism, but they got a playbook too. They're weaponizing technology now. AI surveillance, brainwave manipulation, emotional control algorithms. Hell, you damn can think of something right now and it's going to show up on Google because they're somewhere tapped in. They are somewhere, they are tapped in. And you can ask yourself, why is spirituality mocked while materialism is glorified? See, we got to connect these things together. Why is true self-awareness labeled a dangerous extremism? They tell you right now, it's dangerous. Why is everything that raises consciousness is either hidden or illegal? They fight the conscious war. They fight it. Because the last thing they want is the form to evolve. There's a lot of movies out there where the form fought back to the formers. A lot of symbolism out there. A lot of symbolism. So if we buy into the fear, okay, we're going to remain prisoners. So we're not going to do that, right? If we reject their control, that's not going to happen. If we rise above it, the final confrontation is going to happen. It's a battle for the future of human energy itself. So the war is on the new world order. You just heard me say this. And you have to let it all go, is what he told Neo. Fear, doubt, and disbelief. Free your mind, is what he said. Remember, I just said it earlier. You got to listen to stuff like this, even if it sounds off the rocker, because you got to go to those areas of no-goes. If you're a truth seeker, if you're a real true truth seeker, there is no areas that you cannot go. I didn't say walk in and just put the shoes on and see where it is. And it's already begun. That war has already begun. This isn't just about governments. We're coming to a close here. It's about who controls your very thoughts. This isn't about money. So I want you to be clear of that. It's about who decides what reality you live in. This isn't about control, so don't be misled. It's about whether humans remain sovereign or permanently enslaved by the mind, of course. The Illuminati, those elite bloodlines I talk about, those secret cabals, they're not the rulers, people. They're just the managers of the form. It's some deities, some demonic stuff that are behind this system and have always been here. They've been here. And I'm not saying there's not some good deities to protect us too, but there's some ones out there that they're playing a whole different ballgame. And either way, they try to keep it away from you. But there are the masters and the reptilian architects of the system. That's the question you want to ask yourself. And they will not let this form collapse without a final fight. It's their food. They're not going to let it go. And the ultimate war is not fought with weapons. It's fought with frequency. I say it again. It's not weapons. It's frequency. That's the war. So protect it. Re-evolve it. Close your eyes and meditate and put that ball of light around you. All of that stuff. I'm wearing my protectional mala. I'm doing it right now. And the war is on. It's your vibration. I'm going to give you 3 things here. It's your vibration. They need you low, weak, and depressed and angry for it to work. Your belief system. They need you doubtful, afraid, disconnected from the true spiritual power. Your sovereignty. They need you divided, never united, never realizing your full potential. And now they are beginning to unveil their plan, their final plan. They're doing it. And it's a plan that the farm will never wake up from if they can do it. Yeah, you want to know? I'm going to get to it right now. We're about to end here. They are revealing their final plan. These reptilians, these deities, and then their control mechanisms, these puppeteers and all of this stuff. And with their obedience code that they got us under, they're doing this. I wear my protections right here. This is tiger's eye, crystals, quartz, jade, turbaline or whatever, and this other one. I didn't do this 2 years ago, but when I started studying this stuff, I was like, oh my. So anyway, let me reveal their plan before we go. The AI energy prison, that is the new digital matrix, okay? The emotional manipulation through social media algorithms is part of the new digital matrix. Constant digital surveillance, ensuring total compliance is part of the new digital matrix. It's part of that AI energy form. Now, the next phase is all driven mind control, removing free thought entirely. And they're working on that. And the final war on spirituality and how they are cutting off consciousness. They're snipping consciousness right now. They attack the Kundalini awakening, the meditation and ancient spiritual wisdom. They're attacking it. You've just seen it. They attacked it. The rise of synthetic religions, pushing obedience and enlightenment. Be careful of that. It's out there everywhere. It's synthetic. It's not the real deal. The shift towards scientific materialism, disconnecting people from their soul. That's why you saw the title here. They're harvesting human soul for food. I don't mind talking about this stuff. And I'm going deep on it. I don't mind talking about it. We can go down to the New World Order, which is their master stroke plan. Replacing humanity itself with genetic modification, DNA modification, and removing the human soul's potential. They're trying to get rid of all this stuff. They're merging biology with AI and creating beings incapable of spiritual awakening. And their final goal is a world where suffering is permanent and conscience is crashed and the form is locked down forever. And I'm going to leave you with some final thoughts here real quickly. And in the meantime, if you like what you get and value, make sure you hit the like button, post some positive comments. Everybody just post positive comments for a change. And then, of course, come over and subscribe to the channel because we'll be at this tomorrow on my personal YouTube channel. And it's Truth versus Authority. You can search Roderick Martin. It's right here on the screen, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Here's another quote from Morpheus, and I'm going to use this for you. I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. It's a quote from Morpheus in the movie The Matrix. That is so true. I stand behind that. Y'all hear me? If you watch me for the last 2 years, I only try to awaken your curiosity to the possibility, even when people didn't believe in UFOs and aliens. And it's way bigger than that now. Just want you to know. I still get people say, UFOs real? Really? The true war is not coming. Don't let people tell you that it's coming. It's already here. You see it every day. And the question is not whether you will fight. The question is, are you strong enough to break free through it all? Or are you strong enough to break free? Because that's the power. Your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. I say it again. Your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. You can go by that. And the question, will you allow the system to feed on your fear, your anger, and your suffering? Or will you elevate from it? And beyond the reach, beyond the control, beyond the form. Because once enough of us rise, then the reign ends. And that's why they are terrified. Because we can do it. You know, we can break the veil. We can do it. And I'm going to give you one word to go with tonight that gives you exactly what I'm talking about. And people, that word is transhumanism. That's what it's all about. And it is their final move. It's the ultimate transformation. It's turning humans into machines, into programmable vessels, into empty containers of energy. And if they succeed, then the war is over. But we fight back, and the form will burn to the freaking ground. Period. That's how it's going to go. Is Roderick Martin. And I want to tell you that I love you. If you haven't been told that today, I truly love you with all bottom of my heart. Even if I don't know you and meet you, I can send love to you. I realize that it's very difficult sometimes for us to realize the power of love and true love. And yet, you know, we chase it or we run away from it. We don't want to experience it because we've been hurt by the surface level love. Sometimes we begin to say that we're going to get self-love, and we forget to love outwardly, and we cut everybody off because we're loving ourselves too much. But love is energy. It's transferable. It goes outward, and then it comes back in reciprocity. And oftentimes, I think a lot of people forget that, especially in the awake community, because we can get into a point where we love ourselves and we go, I'm loving to me, and we can't love and can't even receive love from others. So once again, I love you. I really do. And as well as I love myself. But the reptilian agenda, deities, it's stuff for you to consider. And I already know there's going to be people that's going to say some of the craziest things on what I've said tonight. And I can get careless about it. And I just only shoot them some love. So it's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege serving you tonight. And also wherever you may be in the 24 time zones that this show airs. Subscribe here to Forbidden Knowledge for more knowledge as well. And also, for those of you, I will see you tomorrow night on my channel at 8 p.m. We're going to keep it going. Love you.